Hi, my name is Amanda McWhirt. I'm a fruit specialist with the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture, and we're out here in the strawberry patch today. This is an exciting time of year here in Arkansas. Strawberries are one of our first berry crops to ripen. Typically we harvest strawberries here in the state from April all the way through May, and sometimes even all the way into June, particularly in the northern part of the state. And so you may be heading out soon to pick some strawberries yourself, maybe visit a local farm. And so I'm going to give you some tips on how to pick a ripe strawberry. But before I get started, I want to give you a little bit of background on what makes strawberries kind of unique. So I have some strawberries here with me that are ripe and ready for harvest, but strawberry is a little bit of a misnomer because strawberries are not true berries in the botanical sense. They're actually what's referred to as an aggregate fruit, and that's because if you look closely at the surface of a strawberry, you'll see all of these little things that are called achenes, and those kind of look like seeds, but that is actually the true fruit of the strawberry. And so all of those together are aggregated, and so this is an aggregate fruit and not actually a berry. But regardless, strawberries in Arkansas are still delicious, and we love to harvest them early in the spring. And so if you look here at these plants, you'll notice that we have some open blooms on the plants, and these open blooms will develop into a ripe strawberry over a period of about 30 days. And you can see the various stages of development where this is a small green fruit and then a slightly larger green fruit, and then they start to develop a little bit of color here and eventually ripening to a fully red ripe strawberry. And so from a bloom to this ripe strawberry is about 30 days. And so what we are looking for when we are picking ripe strawberries is the strawberries that are red, completely red. And this is something that sometimes confuses people because there are certain fruits that we can pick green, like tomatoes. We can pick them green, put them on our counter, and they will eventually ripen and turn red. Strawberries are not that type of fruit. We have to pick them red and ripe. If you pick a green berry, it's not going to turn ripe off of the plant. And so when you're out in the strawberry patch, the things that you're going to try and look for are those ripe red berries, and you're going to try and pick the fruit up and kind of examine both sides of the fruit, because as you kind of notice on some of these, there's still a little bit orange on the back side, and so this fruit is just a little bit underripe. This berry you could go ahead and pick, but it would probably be a little bit more tart than if you went ahead and picked a berry that was fully red all the way up into the shoulder. And these berries that are darker red are going to be sweeter than fruit that has a little bit more of that orangey color. And this will depend on certain varieties. Sometimes the varieties will have a little bit of whiteness at the tip or a little bit of whiteness at the shoulder of the fruit. And that means that that berry needs just a little bit more time to ripen before it's ready for picking. So as you go out into the field, just kind of pull the leaves of the plant back and try and find those red, ripe strawberries, and those are the ones you're going to want to pick. And then we want to try and leave the remainder of the fruit there, because that's going to be future harvest in the next few weeks or so. Now, if you're ready to pick a ripe strawberry, let's go down here and pick this one. This one looks pretty red. What you're going to try and do is pull it off such that the cap or the green leaves stays on the fruit as you pull it off. And so use some kind of soft fingers as you pull the fruit off of the plant so that you don't damage the plant itself or pull off any fruit that's maybe not quite ready yet. And you'll notice that when I picked this strawberry that I didn't leave any of the stem there on the top of the fruit. You really want to make sure that there's no stem left, because it's going to be a pointy place on the fruit that could potentially puncture other fruit that you put it near in your basket, and so that could injure the other fruit. So you just leave the cap on but no extra stem. Once you harvest your ripe strawberries, you're going to want to try and take them home and get them in the refrigerator as soon as possible. Strawberries are a very delicate fruit, and if you get them into the refrigerator, that'll really extend the shelf life and how long they remain nice and firm for you. I generally recommend to people that they get their fruit into the refrigerator, and then when they're ready to eat it, maybe you're going to eat it fresh or put it in a recipe, that's when you're going to take it out of the refrigerator and rinse it gently in cool water, just removing any surface residue. If you wash fruit and then that water stays on the fruit and then you put it into your refrigerator, that can make the fruit go soft faster. And so try and wait to wash your fruit until just before you're ready to eat it. So those are a few tips on how to be successful with harvesting a ripe strawberry. Hope you enjoy the harvest here in Arkansas.